Hi, welcome back. Seth here again. In the previous two sections for AWS Elastic Beanstalk, we first had a quick introduction about what Elastic Beanstalk is, and then second, we looked at how Elastic Beanstalk works. In this section, we're going to look at a short demonstration on using AWS Elastic Beanstalk in the AWS Management Console to give a little more information about how the service operates. Before we start our demonstration, there were some things done in preparation ahead of time. First, the source code for the example application has already been created and everything has been packaged into a zip file to upload to Elastic Beanstalk. Next, there is already a VPC in which we'll be launching the resources for this application. Lastly, I have already signed into the AWS Management Console for Elastic Beanstalk, and I've selected the region in which I want to launch the application. With that covered, let's go ahead and get started. In the Elastic Beanstalk console, the first thing we're going to do is start creating the application environment. This is going to be where we set the configuration details for the application, as well as upload our packaged code. If you are new to Elastic Beanstalk, your console will look something like what we see here. There are two sections we could use to get started on our application. The first is in the upper right, where we see Create New Application. And then here, near the center, we see Get Started. They'll both take you through the same process, so I'm going to go ahead and click Get Started. This next page that we're on is where I put in the necessary information about the application that I'm going to have Elastic Beanstalk build for me. The application name is the identifier you set for Elastic Beanstalk applications that you build, and the base configuration is the first place you set the application details we discussed in the last section. The platform will be where you select from pre-configured platform templates that Elastic Beanstalk provides. And application code will be where you either point to where your packaged code is, if it's in an S3 bucket, or for you just to directly upload your code. There's also a sample application section for you to choose if you just want to see Elastic Beanstalk launch something for you to preview. Here, for application name, I'm going to put EBDemo. For platform, I'm going to go ahead and select Python. And for application code, I'm going to upload my application code directly from my local machine. Locally, I'll click Choose File, and then I will select the package zip file that I have for my application. Once I've done that, I'll click Upload, and my source code will be uploaded to the Elastic Beanstalk console. Now from here, we could just click Create Application in the lower right-hand side. But because I want to show you some of the options you have for customization, we're going to select Configure More Options. Now I've selected that, we see the configuration page. The first thing on the configuration page is the configuration presets. Here, you are able to make use of common configuration presets, such as launching in the lowest cost options or creating a highly available option. Or you can create a custom configuration where you're able to adjust the different options you see on the rest of this page. I'm going to go ahead and select Custom Configuration so that I have access to show you everything, even though I'm going to launch with the low cost option and keep everything with their defaults. Though you see a lot of options for configuration here, I'm only going to go through a few key areas. I highly recommend that you dive through our AWS documentation for in-depth details on the other configuration adjustments you can make on this page. The areas we're going to look into are Platform, which is this small line above everything else, and then Instances, Load Balancer, Network, and Database. Starting with Platform, this is going to be where we can get more specific in the type of platform that is launched onto our instances. Because I selected Python, it's using the most updated supported version of my selected platform. But I could use other options just by clicking the Change Platform Configuration and making a selection from one of these here. I am going to keep it with the default selection and cancel out of this. Instances gives us the ability to change the type of instance that we're launching, as well as size, and we can make a different selection for the Amazon machine image details. Here you can also change your instance storage options. Again, I'm going to cancel out of everything and keep it default. If we scroll down and click on Modify for Load Balancer, we'll see that the Load Balancer section will allow for us to put in the details for a classic load balancer that Elastic Beanstalk could launch for our application. Here, I'd be able to modify all of the load balancer details if I were going to launch one. And then if we look at network, here we are given the ability to select or create a VPC for our application to use. If I were going to select one, I could select it from a drop-down here, or I could specify creating a custom VPC. Creating a custom VPC will open up a new tab for me where I can go through the VPC creation wizard and create a custom VPC for this application. Once I was done creating that VPC, I could come back to the Elastic Beanstalk page and select the VPC that I had just recently created. From there, I am able to specify what availability zones and subnets my resources are going to launch into. Lastly, under Database, I would be able to create a new database for the Elastic Beanstalk service to use with this application. If I did this, it would create a new RDS database with the specifications I set here, and my application would be able to connect to that database. If I created a database outside of my Elastic Beanstalk application, I would have to configure my application code after installed to connect to the database. This is really no different than when deploying manually. Once I've adjusted all of my configuration points to where I want them, I'm now ready to launch my application. I'm going to go ahead and change my configuration preset back to low cost. And for this demo, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and click Create App. That will take us to a page that walks us through the event happening. While that's running, let me explain to you what's going on. As you see here, you have the source code that you've packaged, as well as all of the configuration data. This includes the data about the platform you need, the AWS resources you're going to run, and any of the other configurations you've made to the environment for your Elastic Beanstalk application. What happens when you tell Elastic Beanstalk to create your application is it's taking the package source and configuration data, processing through the information it has about what needs to be launched, and then starting the process of launching your environment. When it launches the EC2 instances, this is where the platform information and the instance information really come into play. It launches the type of instance that you specified, and then it takes the information you said about the platform and uses that to configure the EC2 instance with the proper tools to set up the environment that will be used to install your source code. With all of that done, your environment for your AWS Elastic Beanstalk application is ready, and the application source code should be up and running. Through the magic of video editing, we've skipped to the ready application. Here, you see that there is a link we can use to verify that our application is successfully working and see what it is.